Hey, it's your girl Linda here on your radio on the Linda D. Lowe Show Girl Talk. I just want to thank everybody for joining me here for another episode of the Linda D. Lowe Show Girl Talk. Those who are joining me on Facebook, what's up? Those who are joining me on YouTube, what's up? And those who are joining via brightradio.com as well as listening via the app. Let me tell you something. Those who are on YouTube, those who are on Facebook, if you don't already have the app, please go to brightradio.com. Make sure you download that app so that you can listen on the go. So, today is the second part of the real deal of marriage. And I have the husbands of the wives who were in the studio with me last week. And I didn't have them sit in the same spot per se, but when I came into the studio, these two guys here, Dennis and Vincent, was already sitting in the same spots that their wives were sitting. And I was like, yes, because I was going to have them already sit in that spot. So it was like they was reading my mind. I was like, yes. So let me just introduce them to you all out there. Here on my right, we have Dennis.
Hey, y'all.
We have Anthony here.
What up?
And we have Vincent here.
How y'all doing?
All right, so these are the guys that are joining me in the studio, and I know it's going to be a great show.
Yeah.
I absolutely know it's going to be a great show. So first, I just want to ask y'all a quick question about all of this that's going on in the news with Colin Kaepernick.
See,
what's his name?
Colin Kaepernick.
The dude who's sitting down.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And I want to know, what do y'all think about it? Like, do you support him? Are you, against him? I'm all for him, so I'm like, sit down, dude. Hey.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great. I think it's great for him to do. I feel it's great for him to take a stand for what he believes in and how he's doing it. There's no law or anything that says that you have to stand during a national anthem for any particular reason. There's no reason for that. So personally, I think that what he's doing is good. I feel that he's taking a stand for something he believes in, and he's doing it his way. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But that don't mean he's wrong.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's my thought.
Right. So y'all want to...
My thought was actually the last thing that I said pertaining to this before we actually started the show was that everybody's making such a big deal and such a lot of loud noise over something that he did was so quiet and he did by himself. He didn't say anything. He didn't tell anybody beforehand. He just sat down for his own personal beliefs. And I understand. And I agree with him. There's a lot of things that could be forced to change if a lot of people took that type of stance. So.
Especially with that platform.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I agree. Use your platform however God gave you to motivate. I mean, he's motivating so much people without saying a word. So I think it's great.
Yeah.
And not only that, I saw this meme. It was a good meme too. I don't know if you guys saw it. It's a meme where it's Donald Trump on the top and Colin on the bottom. Right. On the top of it is good. On the top, I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember exactly, but on the top is Donald Trump speaking to a crowd saying, "America isn't great." And then you have Colin on the bottom. Oh, and in that, all the crowd is going, "Yay, woo!" On the bottom, you have Colin. He's saying, "America isn't great." And everybody's booing. So it's like, it's kind of a double standard. Like, why is it cool for Trump to say the same thing?
But not Colin.
Exactly.
Colin, I'm going to come join you on that bench, bro. Because, hey, I agree with you. Sit on down, because from the start, and I say this all the time, from the start of America, black people was never included. We are just an amendment. Yeah.
It's got deep. Everybody was quiet. It was like, wait a minute, hold on, tell me more. What's she talking about?
What I was going to say is that before a lot of people start jumping on the bandwagon, whether it's other players or just people going to the games, they need to actually know the history. Don't just do it because, this dude's doing it, now it's the trending thing to do.
Right.
Know your history.
Right.
Know what you're doing it stands for.
Right.
Know what that third stance is saying, that talking about in that song, so on and so forth. So I mean, that's all another conversation. But
yeah, definitely know your history.
Right.
And I think a lot of times we may not know our history, but yeah, I always say we were just an amendment, and that's I still feel like that's all we are, is still an amendment that, maybe, but anyway, so people are saying, you got to represent your country, you got to stand strong together, and that just leads me right into marriage, because marriage is all about standing strong together.
yeah, sure, it's true.
It's about standing strong together, and you can't just sit down on the bench on your wife.
Unless she sits your behind on that bench. That's what he said, you go sit down, okay?
Right, unless she
That
sits you there. So let's just dive right into this conversation of marriage. And like I told y'all before, I just want y'all to be open and share so that we can really see as single people, you know, we sometimes have this distorted view of what marriage is. You know, we think, oh, you know what? He's going to cuddle with me every night. And he's thinking, yo, I'm about to hit that joint every night to hit up. So, you know, and so sometimes it's just, you know, really just about the emotional part of marriage. But what happens when your wife doesn't agree with you?
Wait a minute, hold on. You single?
Yes.
Girl, what? Bright Radio listener, she's single! Go to brightradio.com. Put in your applications, fellas.
I used to. So what do you do when your wife does not? I'm gonna start with you, Anthony. What do you do when your wife doesn't agree with you?
Many things. I mean, it kind of depends on the situation, which you know, what the issue is and the situation is. It can go two ways. It can go the way of an argument that can just continue to increase and increase and increase, or it can go in the way of a resolution that can come. Maybe not fast, but it can come. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think a lot of times if there's a situation and we feel ourselves getting into an argument or discussing something, we went that route. We went both ways. You know, we went in a way where it just gets heated. You know, we yelling, we screaming, blah, 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 get out my face, go, and then we have to take breaks and all that stuff. And I hate that. I hate that. That's not how it's supposed to be. And that's a selfish, in my opinion, that's a selfish thing on both parties for it to get to that level. If just one person, that's the key thing. If just one person in that argument were to play the peaceful route, it can't go that far. The argument can't get that deep because one person decided to say, I'm going to relax.
Right.
And it doesn't always go that way.
Right. So let me just ask this. Are y'all petty? Because I know some people can be petty. Like, oh, you raise your voice at me? I'm going to raise my voice at you. Oh, you ain't talking to me? Then I ain't talking to you. So, you know, you said peaceful. So you have peaceful, then you have pettiness. So which one where y'all fall at? Dennis is thinking, go ahead.
I think we sometimes fit into every category. I can be petty. I can be peaceful. Most time my approach is taking a silent approach. Sometimes I just don't say anything. That drives her crazy. Like, would you just speak to me?
Wait, didn't she say that last week too? She said that. I was watching last week. She said that about you.
Yeah.
Would you just speak to me? And I'm quiet. I just, because I know if I say what I'm going to say, it's going to hurt. So
you got to think about it. You got to process it for your own self.
Right.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's better for me to stay quiet.
Okay, Vincent, go ahead, because I know you was hitting that table like, yes.
Yeah, honestly, didn't say everything I could say because I know I fit into both categories, and if she's listening, she's like, yes, you do, sir. But I always try and take a moment not to just come out with the first thing I think. I always think before you speak. So if I don't feel myself being able to communicate clearly and get what I'm thinking or whatever the situation may be across, and also be able to see it from her point of view, which is the most important. Because I can say what I want to say, but if I'm not willing to step outside of myself and say, okay, well, I know I was wrong for this or whatever, what have you, then it's just a continuous event. But most of the time, I'm quiet until I get to that point, and she hates it, and that makes me feel even worse. But then I get even more personality. You're making me the bad guy, and I'm just trying to get myself together.
Right, so you can say the right thing.
Right. So, but that's my bad.
Yeah.
Good way to end it. Good way to end it.
Right, that's my baby. You hear that, la la? So yeah, with all that being said, in terms of, because I know last week we did hit on communication, and we know that each person has their own communication style. And, you know, before you got married, your communication style, you probably really never really thought about it. But then when you got married and you married this person with a totally different communication style, you was like, wait a minute, there's something wrong with you. You know, because we tend to point that finger like, yo, no, it's something wrong with you. And she pointed the finger like, no, it's something wrong with you. And, you know, and so how do you compromise? How do you find that middle ground on coming together, on growing together? How do you do that?
Well, as for me in my house,
You will serve the Lord?
yeah, we'll do that. We definitely do that. We both petty, man. We some petty. We both some petty. She watching, babe. I gotta keep it real. We both petty. Like, well, you know, we'll nitpick at certain things. I mean, you know, we each have our own thing that we're petty about. You know what I'm saying? We have our own different things, nuances, and different things that we may like or dislike or pet peeves and things. But for the most part, a lot of times it gets to a point where I always tell her, I always say that my wife is a know-it-all. Or she thinks she a know-it-all. Like, she thinks she just know-it-all. Like, a lot of times people look at guys that way. But I think my wife, she's just a know-it-all. And I tell her that all the time. You just know-it-all. And then every single time now she wants to say something to me, in the back of her mind, I think she's thinking that she has to be careful what she says because she doesn't want to come off as a know-it-all, right? But, you know, and a lot of times, I don't like to admit it. I'll admit it on the radio, okay? I'll admit it.
Tell the truth, shame the devil.
I think I'm a know-it-all too, man. I be thinking I'm... We the same way, babe. So, yes, I think I'm a know-it-all too. Because I think a lot of times, not a lot of times, but sometimes that mentality that we both have clashes. And so, you know, she thinks she's right, or she knows she's right. I know I'm right. And so the way we approach that discussion sometimes is from that perspective, is we're both right. And we just can't get past that until it takes time in that argument until we realize, okay, this escalated to a point where it didn't need to. And so then we bring God into it. Then we bring God into it, which is ridiculous, right?
For us, I think it's more like I kind of let her lead on it so that, because she's like, oh, you think you know, Dennis, you think you know. So I'm like, okay. You know, I phase back just to let her see what happens so she can see, because sometimes.
So she can say, oh, you were right? Is that what you're waiting
No.
on?
Right. So sometimes she can see, because I think sometimes when we're in the heat of the moment, we can't see from the other person's perspective. So it's like, I kind of pull back the reins to let her have her own experience. It might not be exactly like how I'm seeing it, but she now gets what I'm saying. So I kind of like, let me just pump my brakes and see how that goes. If it don't, then I'll.
Well, and then you'll just take it from there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Compromise. I mean, it's still early for us, so I can't. I mean, we've had some things. I'm trying to think. Usually after some time for myself, we just sit down and talk about it. I'm not really sure, honestly, on that one.
He's still a rookie, y'all. He's the rookie on the scene, y'all.
8 months, right? 8 months, right?
Yeah.
8 months, 7 years?
7 years for Ann.
And 17. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
God bless you, brother.
We're coming to your house.
Come to y'all. Take notes.
Right.
And see, the first year of marriage can either be, in my opinion, I think it can be opposite ways. It's either one of the worst years of your marriage, or it's one of the best years of your marriage. And for me, I know it's kind of switching time, my bad, never mind. But this is important.
Go ahead.
One of the worst years of our marriage, actually the worst year of our marriage, was our first year. The worst year. It wasn't the honeymoon, happy time. It was, we don't know how to talk to each other. We don't know what it's like living with each other. You getting on my nerves. How do we fix this thing? Argue. And so that first year was the worst year of our marriage. But that worst year of our marriage set us up to have the best years of our marriage. And it was getting through that first year. So, I mean, as those, I don't know, I'm not even going to ask you because you still in the first year, so I can't put you out there yet. but yeah, so with that being said.
8 months in?
Yeah.
And honestly, for us, I mean, it still feels like we're dating. And just we're okay. And this is kind of switching topics too, so I apologize.
No, it's okay. Go
but
ahead.
something throughout my life experiences and something that I've definitely learned, just with how I approach life, is however you go into it individually, as well as when you all start dating and everything, however you begin that foundation, that's what's going to pretty much transpire over once you get married.
It's going to set the stage.
It's going to set the stage. So, I did, when I first saw Aisha, I just wanted to know who she was. I didn't think I was going to try and date her or nothing. I was just like, oh, she's interesting. But, now I forgot where I was going. I do that. But, man, I really forgot where I was going.
Listen, I love you, Adam.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So I see it as when men get into a marriage, there's more pressure from society to be that provider. Opposed to when we are dating, it seems like it's more pressure from the woman to get that man. And so how do you feel, I guess, being husbands now? Well, you've been a husband for a long time, but being a husband in terms of the pressure from society that you receive, or maybe even the pressure from your wives and your family to be that provider. To be that provider.
I had 17 jobs, so.
You're right.
I'm always working. But not just from society, but, growing up, I think it's seeing how it is when you grow up. Like, my father is 8 of us. I have 6 sisters, and there's me and my brother. And just seeing how hard my father worked, and that was pressure enough. That was pressure enough to fit that mold. Not just fit the mold. I saw he was a good husband. Loving 8 kids, and then still having enough energy to love your wife. I thought that was incredible. So, for me, I knew from an early age what I wanted. I don't think it was that much pressure from society. I saw in him, what he was doing, and I liked it, and I wanted that same thing for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So pressure. What kind of pressure?
No, I got you. I lost it for a second. That's why it's a thing. But I have to preface my comment with this, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I have the best wife in the world. Sorry, fellas. Sorry. But I have the best wife in the world. And of course, they'll say the same thing.
They better.
He was like, no. But no, I have the best wife in the world because she applies zero pressure with regard to that topic. I'm a business owner, and so being an entrepreneur, if you don't have a supportive wife, if you're married and you don't have a support system in your own household that will allow you to grow in that, it's just you're setting yourself for a lot of trouble. So for me, I'm blessed to have the most supportive wife in the world because there's zero pressure on being the provider. I mean, she recognizes, acknowledges, okay, I'm the man, and it's my job to provide and protect and everything. But she doesn't look at me down or any type of way if I'm unable to do certain things or if I'm not at a point where I want to be at. She's there to push me back up. She's like, look, if I'm depressed, I'm depressed because things aren't going the way I wanted to. She's the one that looks me in my eyes and says, you know what, we'll do this together. And we do things together. So I'm blessed in that respect, and I encourage every listener, husband, wife, to be supportive of their spouses, especially in an entrepreneur situation, because you need that.
Yes, Adana, snap, girl, yes. Because like you said, that is so important as an entrepreneur, for your wife to catch your vision and be that helpmeet that you need, that support that you need, that encouragement that you need, that motivation that you may need from her. Because like you said, if you're not getting it, if the woman is bringing on this pressure about, well, you know what, this ain't working, because entrepreneurship is a journey. It's a journey, okay? And she could easily say, well, you know what, you need to go get a secure job, work a 9 to 5, and bring home the bacon and and then cook it. You know, so I mean, she.
I ain't cooking it. If I'm bringing it home, you're cooking it. You cooking it.
And for her to really support and believe in you says a lot, because a lot of times you can hear women, or I hear guys that talk about, well, you know what, these women say they want a priest in the home, and they say they want a godly man, and they say they want a leader, but then when you get in a relationship with them, they're always tearing you down, or they're not supporting your dreams, or it seems like we are always butting heads, that we're not on the same team, and that's what I hear from the guys, like, these chicks are just trifling.
Depends on where you got them.
Yeah.
It depends on where you got them, and even if you get them in the house of the Lord, you still have to check their character, because not everybody that's there is of the fold.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And also, kind of to piggyback off of my man's comment, I met Laisha at the worst time of my life thus far. And those that know me, that are listening, they know this is true. I mean, to be honest, when me and Laisha started even something like talking, I was on my way, literally on the street, with a bag of clothes and a dog. And I let her know everything up front. And without a moment stutter or anything, she said, "Okay, that's fine. You'll get back." And that's always been her character. And for that, I've always loved her and appreciated her. And now to where we are collectively, as well as the things I'm continuing to strive for, she's always supported me. So if you don't have that on both sides, you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
You're not.
Yes, Lala. Cameron's got a man. Yes, girl.
And his dog.
Okay. and you're so stupid. And that is a good point that you made. I put a post on Facebook a few weeks ago, and it was a picture of a guy and a girl. The guy had made this makeshift motorcycle. It was 2 tires. He had like this board across it, and he was sitting in the front, and she was sitting in the back. And of course, they were going nowhere. But the vision was there. And the caption says, you know, I think I put a caption up there that said, yeah, you may start here, but you can work together to build something. And most girls will look at them and be like, nah, he need to come with a 6-figure income. He need to be driving the latest BMW, Benz, Lexus, Range Rover, something. He needs to have this big old house. And I'm like, you know, sure. When I was 20, I ain't gonna lie. When I was in my teens,
Don't lie. I want to hear this.
when I was a teenager, that was that was because society taught me that. And so any dude that approached me, you know, if he wasn't driving a car, y'all remember the song by TLC, I Don't Want No Scrubs? Here you are, hanging out your friend's ride, and you trying to holler, what? Get your life. You know, so of course society is teaching ladies that, okay, well, no, he needs to have this, he needs to have that. And if he doesn't have anything, then you look at that bus and you be like, yo, I ain't got time for you. Don't even look my way. You know, but I have grown to realize that I could literally be with a guy and we can build something together, because that shows him that, you know what, I'm in this.
And I think you said a big. Sorry, did you want to say that? I think you said a very key word, Linda, vision. Because vision, a man may not have everything, you know, up front. Just especially for younger people who are thinking about marriage or thinking about relationships. Vision, if a man doesn't have any vision at all, there's no vision at all whatsoever. You have nothing to work with. You know, you honestly have nothing to work with. There's no vision there. You have nothing to work with yet. He needs to get that vision, at least. He may not have it with the material or objects, but if he doesn't at least have the vision, then you don't have nothing to work with. So I would definitely encourage someone to make sure that before you even dive into a relationship, there's that vision. And then from that, once you have that vision, you have something to work with, and you can build on that. So that's my thought.
Yes. And I was gonna say, maybe it's the young lady that, because they have no vision, they see their man with no vision. So they seeking a man that has no vision
Because they ain't got one.
because they don't have a vision.
Yes, Dennis.
You hear that, ladies? He
That's
said y'all ain't got no vision.
That's Misha. and that is so. Yes, that's great. That's true. And so, ladies, the question is to you: what is your vision? The man may not always come with this 6-figure income, but if he has a mission, he has a vision, he has God, and he knows exactly where he's going, then you better team up with him. We'll be right back after this break, back to talking to these guys about the real deal of marriage. Yeah, you listen to the Lowe Show Girl Talk.
Clear on radio, still live on Facebook.
Do we have any Facebook comments?
There's a couple. I'll read them to you.
Yeah, that vision thing is serious. Like, gotta have vision, man.
Yeah,
Brother gotta have
that's
vision.
real.
And it's not just like it's the vision,
That
but
is
it's also
definitely real.
like it's faith without works, right? It's like the vision is the faith. You believe, but then there gotta be some action. At a certain point.
Oh, yeah,
you
of
can't
course.
just have it.
Of course.
I got a vision. I got a vision.
But do you have the motivation?
Yeah.
Do you have to carry it out?
Right.
And a lot of people have vision, but they don't know how to execute their vision. So it's stagnant. Like
That is-
certain
wow,
things
that's
that I wanted to get into, but I didn't particularly know how to get into it. So I was like, how do you start something like this? So
That's true. That's true.
what type of discouragement are you getting?
Right.
What's blocking your vision?
Them business females. That's what's blocking.
And I find it that it helps that we feed off of one another, because it can take that man or take that woman to push us to the next level.
Yeah.
In terms of teaming up, because we need that. I always say that in business, as a business person, you're always going to need to partner up with somebody to continue to go higher and higher and higher and higher, because you can't just do it on your own.
That's right.
Because you can reach so many more people when you connect with other people. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the same partner. You can partner with different people on different projects. And so it just takes you to the next level. And that's how I see when two people become, get together and marry, that we gotta be in this thing to win, to make sure that each other are winning. And I'm gonna take you to the next level, you take me to the next level, and we just keep going. Because sometimes people see marriage as, some women may see marriage as, what you gonna do for me? You gotta carry everything.
All right.
So
Technical note, real quick, before we go back up. Just want to make sure, guys, you guys are so afraid of the mic. You're loud, so it really doesn't matter. But we still need to get a good, solid, sound, consistent sound. Because it's loud, you're way back here, then you get soft, but you don't come in. So guys, get into those mics, please. We want to make sure they're heard.
Okay.
All right.
we got any comments on Facebook?
My voice is naturally soft.
Yeah, you're very soft, so I need you really in. So I've got you maxed out. I've got you. I'll monitor you because I know you get really loud. But you're fine. No, you're fine. I want you in it because I can at least monitor you. That way I can get a consistent sound. And yeah, you're soft too, but you like to talk around.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay.
I'm trying to.
Yeah.
Trying to
It's
stay,
hard
but I heard
to-
myself.
I got you at the angle because you're not looking at me. You're looking right. So I got you at the angle, which is good. All right. One comment, Gary Crockett.
Hey Gary.
Anthony, say it loud. You say it loud.
I'm black and I'm proud. What?
Yeah. He also said, "What about 6-figure love?"
I like that. 6-figure love. What does that mean?
Right. What does that mean? That ain't enough love. I need a lot more figures than 6.
Tracy Ann Henderson says, "You have to know that it's a setup, though, to realize there's a reward at the end." Not sure what she's referring to. Gary again says, "Yeah, right. Love it. Be honest, brothers." So he's asking y'all to come clean, come correct.
Pressure, Gary.
Pressure. Yeah.
Come on, brothers. Where do you want to go?
My head spinning, no kidding.
Yeah, tell Tashana Hodge that we're on break. She's saying there's music playing over the show.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I don't see that comment though.
It just came up.
You're crazy and I'm out of my mind.
Sing it. What was it last week or 2 weeks ago? She was singing Whitney Houston.
Leslie.
So she was before the show started. She was killing. I mean, oh, that's really good. We started playing Whitney Houston. She started singing with it. It was like, just do that song. Don't sing. Sing when she's not singing.
That's hilarious. That's Go ahead, girl.
Okay, Tracy Ann Henderson, referring to the brother beside Linda, one or two of the other.
I'm guessing it's this
I'll
one.
assume that one.
Alright, I'm assuming it's the answer.
Speaking about the first year was the worst. And that's it.
Yeah, I guess you want you to go into it.
Ain't too much to go into. I can say the details, but
You know, and the thing about it, it's not really that, you know, it's the first year we did argue a lot, but I think it was more so because we had two different backgrounds. I had moved out when I was 18. My wife, I scooped her up when she was 19.
See you scooped over.
She was 19. I was like, let's go.
and you were 18?
No, I was 22. So 19. She was 19. So, I mean, it was more so, you know, I kind of understood that she wasn't where I was at because I had an outside experience away from my parents, just being me, knowing, you know, a little bit about what I like. This was her first experience. So,
I see what you're saying.
the dresser, it could be the
90 seconds.
the deodorant on the desk. I like it like this. No, but I like it like this. That's an argument.
One of those things. Got you.
That's an argument.
Got you.
So, you know, but
How long did it take y'all to get over all that?
I just started letting her be. And then it kind of like, I don't know, we kind of like just figuring stuff out. We started figuring stuff out.
Yeah.
It's
And,
adjustment.
60 seconds.
it's adjustment.
Big adjustment.
I think if I get married, I'm gonna live alone the first year.
Actually,
You lost applications on that.
I have a friend that they got married the first